Behind every breakthrough is a simple idea, and experience, opportunity, and developing your career reveals the ones that matter. We will focus on what it says about career and work. Stay with me, the best part is near the end. Chapter 1: Career and Build. How do I actually build a career? Create a career portfolio, not a career path, a new way to think about your professional growth. By April Rinne 3. How to build a career you want to hate. Be intentional about your future. By Michelle Gibbings 4. 5 ways to figure out if a job is right for you. Take these steps before accepting an offer. By Roxanne Calder 5. Why you should take on more stretch assignments. They can take your career in a positive, unexpected direction. By Jonna Berry. Chapter 2: Help in Career. Who can help? Want to advance in your career? Build your own board of directors. It's not the same as having multiple mentors. By Susan Stelter 7. What to say when you're reaching out to someone on LinkedIn. Conversation starters and sample messages. By Christy DePaul 8. 5 questions to ask during an informational interview. The discussion could help you land your next role. By Sean O'Keefe 9. Are you taking full advantage of your network? Networking should be more than just a means to an end. By Deborah Grayson Regal 10. How to talk to your boss about your career development. Don't leave your professional growth to chance. By Antoinette Oglethorpe. Chapter 3: Career and Decide. How do I decide what's next? How to make better decisions about your career. No, it doesn't involve a magic 8 ball. By Timothy Yen 12. The right way to make a big career transition. Think about the why, the what, and the when. By Otkar Shamitab 13. Thinking of quitting your job? Ask yourself these questions first. By Priscilla Clayman 14. Should you go to graduate school? The Pros and Cons. By Tomas Chamorro Premusic. Chapter 4: Values and Career. What if I don't want a traditional career path? 4 pieces of career advice. It's okay to ignore these tips, don't always hold up. By Tomas Chamorro Premusic 16. You don't have to become the boss to grow in your career. You can become a leader, even if you're not a manager. By In Sugar 17. Should you really be indispensable at work? Short answer, no. By Liz Wiseman 18. The case for making terrible career choices. Learning what you don't want can bring you closer to what you do. By Ruchika Tulsian. Notes index about the contributors. Section 1: What kind of career do I want? Values, passion, and purpose. By Irina Kozma. When it comes to developing your career, you've heard the advice: define your values, follow your passion, and find your purpose. But we all know following this advice isn't as easy as it sounds. Identifying and understanding our values, passion, and purpose takes introspection and self-discovery. It requires us to examine our beliefs and motivations to gain clarity on what truly matters to us. And that's only the first step. Once you understand what you actually want, it's another challenge to apply those aspirations to your career. Should you follow your passion or purpose? What if your values clash with your dream job? Is there a way to align your vision of a fulfilling career with the job market? The only way to answer these questions is to truly understand the concepts of values, passion, and purpose, clarify your own perspective on each, and reflect on what they mean for you in your career. Values. Think of your values as the foundation for your passion and purpose. They define what is important to you and thereby can influence the passions you pursue and the purpose you seek to fulfill. Your values are your answers to questions like what is important for you in life? Or what are your non-negotiables? Having an answer to these questions will bring clarity and direction when it comes to making decisions about your career and can help you balance when you feel frustrated or overwhelmed. Defining your values. To define your values, start by writing down the things in your life that matter to you most. Maybe it's friends, family, financial stability, creativity, sustainability. It's entirely up to you. As you think of your list, it's important to be honest with yourself and focus on what is truly fundamental for you. Don't worry about what values will make you look good in the eyes of others. You never have to show anyone your list if you don't want to. Once you have a list of words, it's important to also define what those words mean. You're not looking for the textbook definition, you're looking for an explanation of each value that is useful to you. For example, the way I define my value of happiness, the joy in the process of what I am doing, might be different from how you would define it. Know that it might take time to find and stabilize your values. It took me a year of ongoing reflection before I felt firm on mine. You might start with a set of values and, months later, end up with a very different list. And it's likely that they will change as you grow in your life and career. Even so, it's important that once you've defined your values, you memorize them. Here is a test for yourself. If I woke you up in the middle of the night and asked you what your values are, would you be able to list them? If you can, you're more likely to use them in an effective manner. Using your values. Finding and defining your values requires hard work, but that is just the beginning. Values are not just concepts, they should manifest in your actions, decisions, and behaviors. When your values are in alignment with your actions, you will experience greater satisfaction and authenticity. To reap the benefits of value identification, you also need to live by them day in and day out. Let us consider the hypothetical example of Val, a recent graduate. One of Val's core values is freedom. For her, freedom is about having independence in her actions and decision-making. This is a non-negotiable for her. She found that when she was micromanaged in her internships, she would leave feeling unhappy and underutilized. People told her that this is just what it's like when you're early in your career. You need to follow the rules if you want to advance. She understood that she might not have total freedom to pursue the exact career or role she wanted, but she knew it'd be possible to find a job that would allow her the freedom to create initiatives or act on her ideas. When she began interviewing for jobs, she made it a point to ask her interviewers questions about how tasks are delegated, how new ideas are processed, and what room there would be for growth. Based on their answers, she was able to weed out organizations and managers that were likely to infringe on her value of freedom. Passion is what drives you to explore and engage in activities aligned with your values. Fundamental to passion is the strong and intense emotional drive that fuels its pursuit. It's the deep, fervent interest and enjoyment you derive from a particular activity, cause, or field. And it's this emotion that often creates a high level of commitment to one's passion, even when times are hard. Take the many artists that continue to pursue their passion for art even if they never see the financial benefits during their lifetimes. Finding your passion often arises from within, driven by personal interests and desires. It's something you do because you genuinely love it, not necessarily because of external rewards or expectations. When you're passionate about something, you're naturally drawn to it, and the mere act of engaging in that activity or pursuing that interest becomes intrinsically rewarding. What activities or pursuits in your life bring you a sense of joy and fulfillment just by engaging in them without any external rewards or pressures? Will you still do that thing even if nobody is watching or nobody will ever find out about it? If so, that is an indicator that you are truly passionate about it. Keep in mind that you can have multiple passions in different areas of your life. For example, you may be passionate about painting, cooking, and environmental conservation. It can feel overwhelming to have multiple passions, but know that you don't have to choose, unless you really want to. You can prioritize and reprioritize them and make space for all of your passions in different proportions and at different times throughout your life. You may choose one to pursue in your career and focus on others outside of work. Or you may follow one passion at the beginning of your career and make a shift later in order to satisfy a different one. Using your passion, knowing what you're passionate about, can guide you in many different ways, from helping you find a career you'll love, to deciding on what moves to make on your path, to balancing your work and life. Take the hypothetical example of Nisha. For as long as she could remember, Nisha's friends felt comfortable talking to her about their problems, and Nisha loved being that sounding board for them. She was deeply passionate about helping others and knew she wanted to pursue a career connected to people. When the time came for her to choose a career path, she resisted her family's suggestion of going into finance and insisted on exploring a career where she could directly work to support others. She learned more about psychology and discovered that being a therapist closely aligned with her passion. This helped guide her as she made decisions about her college major, whether or not to attend graduate school, and what roles would be fulfilling. Purpose is a broader and more profound concept that encapsulates how your values and passions come together. It is your deeper reason for existence. It's a sense of meaning and direction in life that goes beyond personal enjoyment or fulfillment. Purpose often involves contributing to the greater good or serving a cause larger than yourself. Discovering your purpose. In order to find your purpose, ask yourself questions like, what do I believe is the ultimate reason for my existence? Or what social or environmental issues do I feel strongly about, and in what ways can my skills, passions, or resources contribute to addressing these issues? These are big questions that might require time to process, so don't rush. Your purpose will likely be more focused and singular compared to your passion. It represents a specific, overarching goal or mission. It's not a vague notion, but a clear and concrete objective that gives your life direction and meaning. Think of your purpose as a mission statement for your life. For example, somebody's purpose might be to alleviate poverty in their community by providing financial resources to micro-entrepreneurs. In that case, they might target jobs in banking or other financial institutions so they can learn the system from the inside. Using your purpose like your values, your purpose can help guide your actions and serve as a constant reference point for decision-making in your career. It can be a guidepost for long-term planning, helping you understand your career in the context of what you ultimately want to achieve or the legacy you want to leave behind. Take the hypothetical example of Paula, who identified her purpose as improving accessibility for people with disabilities. Paula was unhappy in her career, so when it came time to rethink her path, she considered her purpose. Her passion for nature also drew her focus to accessibility at national parks, so she began thinking through ways to pursue this opportunity. She could try to find a job directly in the national park system. She could work for an advocacy group or the government to influence policies and funding. Or she could work for a company that designs infrastructure for people with disabilities. Given these options, she also considered her values, which path would allow her to also fulfill her values of financial stability and family. Know that using your purpose for career decision-making may require you to prioritize your mission over short-term gains or comforts. Make sure you're clear on your non-negotiables, your values, and the sacrifices you're willing to make to fulfill your purpose. Harmony and tension between values, passion, and purpose. In summary, values are your non-negotiable foundation, passion is about what excites and motivates you, and purpose is your deeper reason for existence. These concepts are deeply interconnected, and aligning them will give you the best chance at having a fulfilling life and career. But having perfect alignment isn't always possible. It's likely that you'll encounter challenges in trying to live by your values, pursue your passion, and find your purpose. They may clash with each other. You may value financial security, but your passion is playing live music. They may clash with your current skills. Your passion is video game development, but you didn't go to school for computer science. Or they may clash with the current job market. Your purpose is to fight poverty and leave the world better than you found it, but finding a non-profit job is harder than you expected. Still, there are steps you can take to get closer to that alignment. If you are an accountant who enjoys playing music, you can get a job as an accountant in a music production company and play music on the weekends. If you're in sales but want to develop video games, you can get a sales job at a video game company while building your skills. And if you're looking to make a difference in the world while still making money, consider a job that can offer you financial stability and the ability to donate to nonprofits. As you navigate advice around your career and applying these concepts, know that it's okay not to have all of them perfectly defined or aligned. You may need to prioritize them based on what is most useful to you in this current moment. There will be times when your values are driving you forward, and other times it will be your passion or purpose. The truth is, values, passion, and purpose are just words. They will impact your life depending on the meaning you assign to them. It's up to you to discover what they mean for you and your career. Chapter 5, Quick Recap. When it comes to developing your career, you've heard the advice: define your values, follow your passion, and find your purpose. But what do these concepts actually mean? Values are the foundation for your passion and purpose. They define what is important to you, and they should manifest in your actions, decisions, and behaviors. Passion is what drives you to explore and engage in activities aligned with your values. Your passion can help you find a career you'll love and decide what career moves to make. Purpose encapsulates how your values and passions come together. It is your deeper reason for existence. It can be a helpful guidepost for long-term career planning. Adapted from values, passion, or purpose which should guide your career. On HBR.org, October 23, 2023. Should you choose your passion over your paycheck? Check out this article and video, Section 2: How do I actually build a career? To create a career portfolio, not a career path, by April Rinne. Every 4 years or so, something inside me shifts. I get restless and want to learn something new or apply my skills in a new way. It's as though I shed a professional skin and start over, fresh. In my 20s, I got all kinds of flack for this. When I decided to guide hiking trips rather than join a consulting firm, my peers said that my RSM made no sense. When I opted to defer graduate school to travel in India, my mentors questioned my seriousness and said my professional future could crash. I felt like something was wrong with me because I was interested in so many things while my friends were laser-focused on climbing the corporate ladder. It's not that I wasn't disciplined or willing to work hard. There was just too much worth learning and doing. To settle on one pursuit seemed like a mistake. Today, the world has changed in some amazing and profound ways. Broadening your career focus and professional identity is no longer seen as a negative. It's celebrated. The macro forces driving the future of work demand independent and adaptable thinkers. As you start to think about your career, or continue to develop it, try stepping away from the idea of it needing to be a path, and start thinking of it as a portfolio instead. What is a career portfolio? A career portfolio is a different way to think about, talk about, and most important, craft your professional future in order to navigate our ever-changing world of work with purpose, clarity, and flexibility. Whereas a career path tends to be a singular pursuit, climb the ladder in one direction and focus on what is straight ahead, a career portfolio represents your vast and diverse professional journey, including the various twists and turns made by choice or by circumstance. My portfolio, as an example, includes author, speaker, futurist, advisor, lawyer, hiking guide, global development executive, investor, and yoga practitioner. Each of these identities took time to develop. Some of them included traditional jobs, while others meant self-employment, pro bono work, and sweat equity investments. Many are roles I'd been in simultaneously and longer than my usual 4-year stint, though my periodic urge to add another to the list continues unabated. As you begin to build your own portfolio, you don't have everything figured out. In fact, it's probably better if you don't. That's the beauty of a portfolio. Because it's not focused on a singular end, it gives you more space and, frankly, more wisdom to test out different things and find your way. How do I build a career portfolio? The first thing to remember is, you already have a career portfolio even if you don't realize it, and even if you've never had a paid job. Start by identifying what's in it. While your portfolio can include traditional paid jobs, don't limit yourself. Think bigger. Your portfolio is created by you, rather than determined for you by someone else, like a bunch of hiring managers. It reflects your professional identity and potential. It includes your unique combination of skills, experiences, and talents that can be mixed, matched, and blended in different ways. If you've helped care for your siblings, led a team of online gamers, or done community outreach, include these activities in your portfolio. In fact, include any role or activity in which you've created value and served others: freelance roles, volunteering, community service, side hustles, passion projects, hobbies, exchanges, parenting, supporting your family and friends, and so on. Your portfolio should also include experiences and capabilities that are customarily left off your or some, yet fundamental to who you are. For example, my status as an orphan, globetrotter, insatiable handstander, and mental health advocate are all essential components of my portfolio. These identities help power the work that I do. How you keep track of your portfolio is a matter of personal preference. I suggest creating a simple list to start. But because the real value of your portfolio is in its diversity, you'll want to make connections between the things that are in it. Personally, I draw my portfolio, it looks like a network with many different nodes. As I add new skills, roles, or experiences, I add those elements to my drawing. What are the benefits of a career portfolio? Practically speaking, a career portfolio typically leads to greater ownership of your career, because unlike a job that someone else gives you, and determines the scope of, and whether you will advance, a portfolio can't simply be taken away. It is yours forever. Similarly, a career portfolio gives you a unique professional identity that evolves alongside you, an isn't royal to the core if you lose a job, shift gears, or even start over from time. It's naturally aligned with lifelong learning and meant to help you expand your professional community and access to leadership opportunities. Consider your portfolio part of your strategy to be unautomatable, too. Over time, the value of your portfolio will increase by your ability to cross-pollinate, to combine and weave together skills from your different experiences in order to gain new insights, tackle new problems, diversify income sources, and serve in new ways. In a world of uncertainty, people who can expand their thinking beyond boxes, silos, or sectors will be in demand. Those who make an effort to build a career portfolio now will be more prepared to pitch themselves for, and even create, new opportunities, as they will be well practiced at making creative connections between their various skills and the skills required of the jobs they most wish to pursue. How do I use my portfolio to land the roles I want? It's key to be clear about how your portfolio enables you to be proactive, to learn, and to contribute in ways that a traditional career path would not. I call this your portfolio narrative. Employers are hungry to hire talent with non-traditional backgrounds, but they often need help. Your portfolio narrative is the link. It is the story you tell to make connections between the skills people are hiring for and the skills you have developed through the breadth of your experience. For example, when I was a hiking and biking guide, some people said my career looked frivolous, or even like too much fun. What they didn't see was that as a guide, not only was I usually working 18-hour days first up and last to bed, but I was also learning how to project manage, accommodate differences, balance budgets, build teams, ensure safety, forge lifetime friendships, and spark joy. I didn't have a fancy title or earn very much, but I got a practical mini MBA on the trail and perspective that would shape the rest of my life. Often, I've had to fill in these gaps for others. Being able to explain why my experience was valuable in this way didn't just shape my portfolio, it helped me stand out from other candidates when I applied for jobs. Telling a good portfolio narrative requires understanding how the different things in your portfolio enhance one another. How does your combination of skills give you an edge? I like to think of this as 1 + 1 = 11. Your combination of skills is far more valuable than any of them on their own. When answering interview questions, for instance, share a story about how you applied skills you learned in two very different settings to solve one specific problem. The future of work is full of uncertainty. It's hard to know what to do or to trust that things will work out. But taking ownership of your portfolio is something that you can control, and you can start today. Your future will thank you. Chapter 6, Quick Recap. As you think about your career, try stepping away from the idea that it needs to be a path, and start thinking of it as a portfolio instead. Whereas a career path tends to be a singular pursuit, climbing the ladder, a career portfolio represents your diverse professional journey. While your portfolio can highlight traditional paid jobs, it should also encompass your professional identity, skills, experiences, and talents. Make connections between the experiences and skills in your portfolio. This will help you create a narrative around your experience and give you an advantage when pitching yourself to potential employers. Adapted from Why You Should Build a Career Portfolio, Not a Career Path, on HBR.org, October 13, 2021. Looking for another way to think about your career path? Watch this video, 3 How to Build a Career You Want to Hate by Michelle Gibbings. Whether you're just getting started in your career, or are ready to take the next step, you need to approach your career goals strategically. You need intention, but also flexibility. To move forward, you need a career guide. A career guide is a well-thought-out plan highlighting what it will take to progress your career in ways that you find truly meaningful. This approach has served me, and my clients, well throughout my time in the corporate world and now as an executive coach helping others make the leaps that will advance their careers. Create your own career guide. Your guide will include 4 parts. Each is meant to challenge you to think critically about what you want and where you should focus your energy. The ultimate goal is to identify and take steps that will help you align your career with your deeper purpose and skills. Chapter 7, Write down your current career traps. Have you ever had a job, internship, or class that you felt trapped in? Maybe you knew something was off or wasn't working, but you struggled to pinpoint why. This feeling is often caused by what I call career traps, patterns of thinking or behaviors that we practice because they're familiar to us, even though they can negatively impact us. It can take a crisis, a pandemic, getting fired, painful boredom, burnout, loss, or a significant illness for us to stop, reflect, and recognize the career traps that might be getting in our way. Don't wait for that to happen. Based on my experience, there are 5 common traps people fall into. Be proactive by challenging yourself to consider if you've struggled with any of these traps, and which ones may impede your progress. Ambition trap. You're a high performer who is used to success. You worry that if you slow down you'll stop achieving. Not knowing how to dial it back, your solution is to work harder when the pressure at work rises. Expectation trap. You continually strive to meet other people's expectations. Consequently, admitting that you're struggling and overworked is ego-shattering. You worry that people will think less of you if you acknowledge you are burned out or unable to cope. Busyness trap. You enjoy being busy and consider it a part of your identity. For you, work always comes first. As a result, you struggle to say no, slow down, or switch off. You likely regularly sacrifice time with loved ones and your health for your job. Translation trap. You've worked hard to get to where you are, yet the happiness you thought you'd find eludes you. You have all the hallmarks of success, but you feel like you have lost your way because your role doesn't fulfill or inspire you. Nor does it align with your purpose. At the same time, you worry about changing directions because you believe that your current job is all you know. Adrenaline trap. You run your life on adrenaline, not taking enough time to care for your mind, body, and spirit. You are run down and overworked. You say to yourself, "I'll take a break tomorrow," but tomorrow ends up being just as busy. You have forgotten that putting your self-care needs first is a critical act of leadership and crucial for a sustainable career. Avoiding these traps in your career, and getting out of them, involves making deliberate trade-offs, and deciding on those trade-offs will become easier when you are clear on what matters to you. Chapter 8. Define your purpose. Your purpose is your why, the reason you do what you do. For some of us, it may be to lead a happy and healthy life. For others, it may be to create a life filled with learning and passing on those lessons. Purpose can center around study, experimentation, and trying new things. It can involve serving our communities, taking risks, or venturing into the unknown. Whatever your purpose is, research shows that we can find meaning in our work by putting our why at the center of our decision-making. So, what is your purpose? Answering this question isn't easy, and there is no magic formula. It's an iterative process that involves some soul-searching. To start, pay attention to what matters to you and motivates you. Ask yourself, what matters to me? What and who inspires me? When have I been the most motivated? What difference do I want to make through my work? When have I been most proud of who I am as a person? When you answer these questions, consider both your personal and professional life. This holistic approach is essential because you can't divorce your work from the rest of your existence. A decision you make personally will affect you professionally, and vice versa. Write down your responses and look for themes or common threads. If you are more of a visual thinker, you might even try creating Pinterest boards for each question. The objective is to capture your thoughts, feelings, moods, and impressions. Your ideas don't need to be perfectly formed, so long as they have meaning. Over time, ideas will percolate, bubble up, and the obvious answers will spill over. When that happens, you will know you have hit on something. It will feel right. Once you know your purpose, which, by the way, can shift and change over time, you can be more intentional about dropping the habits that don't serve you, your career traps, and doing things that bring you closer to it. When picking a job or career path or saying yes to a new project, for example, you can ask yourself, does this align with what really matters to me? Does it get me one step closer to living a life aligned with my purpose? If the answer to those questions is yes, you know you're ready to move forward. Chapter 9. Document your unique skills and create your selling statement. Say you want to get a job that will stretch you, and you found one that aligns with your purpose of always learning. To get that job, you'll need to demonstrate what makes you a good candidate, and more so, better than others who may be vying for that same job. Take some time to identify your unique selling point, USP, the skills and experiences that, combined, make you better than your competition. To find your USP, try this exercise. divide a sheet of paper into 2 columns, or use Google Sheets or a Word file. List the skills and competencies you know you have in 1 column. Include role-specific technical and functional skills, things like programming, design, or accounting, as well as non-role specific competencies such as problem-solving, relationship building, or creativity. For each item on your list, ask, what value or benefit does this offer an employer? And add your responses in the next column. For example, your digital skills may help an organization elevate its digital presence, or your strong relationship building techniques may support a business looking to improve its customer engagement. Look at your experience and expertise and highlight your greatest strengths, the specific skills that make you an especially valuable candidate. Once you've gathered all your data, use your analysis to start drafting your selling statement, a short explanation of who you are, what you stand for, and the value you can bring to any team, culture, or organization. Play with the words and sentences until you find a combination that accurately captures your essence. Here are some short examples. Example 1. I am an energetic sales professional committed to building strong and successful customer relationships. With a demonstrated record of identifying and nurturing potential leads and converting those into successful customer relationships, I create sustainable, high-quality revenue streams. Example 2. I'm committed to making a difference by helping people learn and grow in their roles through my work. I'm skilled at creating a shared sense of purpose among my team members so we can deliver outcomes in a rapidly changing and complex operating environment. I do this by bringing the talents of each individual person to the forefront. Your selling statement has multiple uses. You can use it as an elevator pitch for prospective employers and add it to your RSUM or LinkedIn profile. Remember, though, crafting your statement isn't a one-and-done exercise. As you grow your skill sets and experience, you can and should revisit and rewrite it. Plus, what is valued by employers will change with time, so you want to ensure your USP is current, meaningful, and targeted. Chapter 10. Seize opportunities to expand yourself. It's important to always be on the lookout for opportunities that align with your purpose and skills. Write down a list of internal projects or teams you'd like to work on, organizations you'd be interested in applying to at some point, or volunteer opportunities you'd like to pursue. That way, when an opportunity arises that aligns with your purpose, goals, current skills, and the skills you need to build to move forward, you'll be ready. The key here is to be strategic about the process. You don't need to say yes to every opportunity. And remember, successful careers don't happen by accident or without help from others. You need great people around you to inspire, challenge, and support you along the way. It can also be helpful to write down a list of specific individuals or people with roles you'd like to learn more about that you're eager to get in touch with. This will help you further build your network and find opportunities that will move you forward. Having a broad and deep network can help you expand your mindset about what is possible, more readily learn about how your industry and profession are changing, and identify where new opportunities are arising. Now is the time to do the work. With your career guide drafted, your purpose at hand, and your attention focused, you're ready to move forward. Chapter 11. Quick recap. If you want to move forward in your career with intention, consider creating a career guide. Follow these steps, identify your career traps, or the patterns of thinking that you practice because they're familiar, even though they negatively impact you. Define your purpose by asking yourself what matters to you and why you do what you do. Identify your unique selling point, USP, the skills and experiences that make you better than your competition when applying for jobs. Write down a list of internal projects or teams you'd like to work on, organizations you'd be interested in applying to, or volunteer opportunities you'd like to pursue. Adapted from content posted on HBR.org, February 8, 2022. For 5 Ways to Figure Out If a Job is Right for You by Roxanne Calder. Have you ever landed a job or internship that you were so excited for, only to feel like accepting the offer was a mistake? You're not alone. In a recent survey of 2,500 Millennial and Gen Z applicants, 72% of respondents were surprised or regretted accepting a role because the position or company was very different from what they were led to believe it would be, and 41% said they would give the job just 2 to 6 months before leaving. Here's the thing: just because a role seems like it will be the perfect fit doesn't mean it will be. And just because a job seems like it might help you advance in your career doesn't mean you should always take it. Just as employers evaluate you, you should also be evaluating your potential employers. It's all about taking the time to know what the role will entail and how the organization will, or 1T, align with your values, potential, and career goals. Apply to a job, even if you don't meet all criteria, by Janet T. Fan. Imagine this: you log on to your favorite job posting website to look for a new role. As you scroll, you stumble upon a job that looks perfect. You're excited to apply based on the description, but then, your hopes and dreams are squashed by the required skills or years of experience section. All too often, people don't apply for a new position simply because they don't hit every single one of the criteria included in the job description. Research shows that while men and women share similarities in how they browse and look for jobs, women are 16% less likely to apply to a job after viewing it, and also apply to 20% fewer jobs than men. The reason? A report showed that women hold back if they don't meet 100% of the criteria, while men usually apply after meeting about 60%. In both cases, those who don't apply usually hold back because they feel they want to be hired without checking off all the boxes, so why waste their time and energy? This presents a big challenge, especially when most entry-level jobs still require a year or 2 of previous work experience. If you're just out of school or still new to the workforce, don't let this or other so-called requirements limit you. Instead, follow these tips. If you're a college graduate, count internships relevant to the role in your years of experience. If you're 5 years into your career, and the criteria asks for 8 years, apply. This goes for all roles. There is typically 2 to 3 years of wiggle room when it comes to work experience. If you meet about 60% of the criteria, apply. No matter the end result, remember, you'll never be considered if you don't apply. The key is getting that first interview. After that, it's up to you to craft your work history and experience into a story that convinces the hiring manager you're right for the role. Commit to showing up for yourself in this way. The reality is you won't land all the roles, but you might land one. And you'll never know if you don't try. Deanne Taki and Maria Ignatova, Gender Insights Report, How Women Find Jobs Differently, LinkedIn, n, https://business. LinkedIn.com/content/dam/me/business/enus/talent solutions lodestone/body/pdf/gender insights report. PDF. Tara Sophia Moore, Why Women Don't Apply for Jobs Unless They're 100% Qualified, HBR.org, August 25, 2014, https://hbr.org/2014/08/ Why Women Don't Apply for Jobs Unless They're 100 Qualified. Adapted from content posted on HBR.org, July 20, 2022. So when you find a role you think will help you step up in your career, take these steps before accepting an offer to make sure it's the right move for you. Validate the job description. Job descriptions, when used correctly, can provide you with great insights about a company or a role. They can clue you in on the responsibilities you would hold, reveal how your performance will be measured, and even help you evaluate your current skill sets. Use platforms like LinkedIn or the company's website to start your research. On LinkedIn, View the profiles of people who might be working in similar roles at the organization. Their work history, background, and qualifications, skills, and expertise can help you get a realistic sense of the role and evaluate your own skill level. For instance, if you feel the employees you find are far less experienced than you, it might mean the role is too junior for you despite the title. Or you may notice that you need to upskill to strengthen your application. On occasion, a job description might use words or phrases that sound confusing or vague. For example, the phrase conflict management could mean anything from communicating clearly with customers to leading complex projects to recovering from mistakes quickly. Similarly, a senior job title may not always equate to a managerial or high-level role depending on the size and structure of the company. Keep in mind that unfortunately not all job descriptions provide an accurate representation of a role. Some may be outdated or pulled together perfunctorily. So, approach them with a critical mindset and don't be afraid to ask questions about the description during your interviews. Pay attention to the company culture. Every business has a culture, the values, habits, and behaviors that define their day-to-day work environment. If the culture is a good fit, you'll likely feel comfortable and confident bringing your whole self to work. If it's not a good fit, it may be more difficult for you to grow and learn in the role. To understand a company's culture, pay attention to how they communicate with you from day one: the first email they send, the first phone call you have with their recruiters, your job interviews, and even follow-up emails. After each exchange, stop and consider how you feel. Are they transparent, genuine, and empathetic? What is the tone and demeanor of the people facilitating the process? Are they interested and eager to learn more about you? Nerves aside, is it easy to be yourself and ask questions? If you're attending an in-person interview, observe your surroundings. Even when waiting in reception, strike up a conversation with employees who may be passing by. A lot can be uncovered through a 3-minute chat. During the interview itself, ask the hiring manager detailed questions about the environment, culture, and communication practices the team prefers. For example, if you're an introvert, you may want to understand how your potential boss collaborates with different personalities. You can ask, how are mistakes handled? How is success measured? How has the team resolved a conflict or a difficult situation in the past? How do managers communicate with and lead people from different backgrounds? How will I be supported if my boss works in a different time zone? What are the avenues for growth in this role? Will I be supported if I want to upskill? Ask about employee turnover, internal promotions, and lateral moves, and with each question, probe the hiring manager for specific examples. If their answers are vague, that may be a negative sign. Pay attention to their language and tone. Do you mesh well? Would you feel comfortable with this person setting goals for you and giving you feedback? This goes for potential team members as well. Should you get the opportunity to meet them, ask yourself, can I see myself working with and depending on these people? Discuss salary and benefits as soon as you can. Determine if the salary of the role matches its market value. Websites like Glassdoor and Payscale usually have information about the market value of specific roles in different locations. You can also talk with friends and peers who work in similar fields or positions. If the salary isn't disclosed in the job description, ask the human resources person facilitating the process about how compensation is determined. If you're directly in touch with the hiring manager, bring it up during the first interview. You'll need to walk a careful line, avoid coming off as money hungry, but also show that you take compensation seriously and consider it an important aspect to consider. Questions you can ask include, will compensation be structured according to my previous income and experience? Does the company have internal salary bands or any external management consulting firm conducting research to determine fair pay? How are bonuses and benefits rolled out? Don't forget about health insurance, childcare, pension contributions, parking, travel allowance, vacation, bonuses, parental leave, well-being and work-from-home policies, flexible schedules, and other benefits. These are just as important to consider as salary. Even if the pay is not competitive, robust and inclusive benefits can add to the overall compensation and, importantly, signal how the company values and takes care of its employees. Conduct your own background checks on the organization and the manager. Most companies are going to check your references, and you should do the same for them. If joining a large organization or well-known brand, this information may be easier to gather. Websites, articles, press releases, and annual reports will uncover a lot. You can also dig a little deeper to learn about their reputation and integrity by messaging former employees on LinkedIn. If the business is a startup or new venture, research the funding and investment to understand if the company is financially viable and has the potential to grow. When it comes to your potential boss, check out their LinkedIn profile, website, or other social media platforms. This will give you a look into their educational background and skills, as well as their views and values. Getting to know your potential coworkers better before actually starting a role may help you better understand the environment you could be working in. Refocus on your career goals. Your decision around whether to accept or decline an offer should at the end of the day be driven by your interests, values, and future goals. Envision where you see yourself at least 2 years from now. Do you want to work for a legacy brand? Do you want access to training and development? Do you want to progress quickly? More money? More free time? More purpose? There are no right or wrong answers. During the interview process, share your goals with the hiring manager. This is a good way to determine if the organization can deliver on your expectations. For instance, if you want to pursue higher education in the future, ask if there is a work-study policy. If promotions are your motivator, ask how people on the team have grown and progressed. If you're looking to hone your technical skills and work with the best people in the business, ask about mentoring opportunities or development programs. You can even ask the manager what they expect of the role 2 years from now. How do these expectations align, or not align, with your goals? Being clear and transparent about your priorities during the interview process will help you make the best decision and avoid career roadblocks when starting a new job. At first glance, this may seem like a lot of work. But the more you engage in the process, the more confident you will be in your career decisions. The workplace is now transforming into a place where we bring our whole selves, not just our skills and expertise, and both employees and employers are driving that change. You deserve to find a role in a company that works for you and your career goals just as much as you work for them. Chapter 12, Quick Recap. Just as employers evaluate you, you should be evaluating your potential employers to ensure that a role will align with your goals. Here are 5 things you can do. Use platforms like LinkedIn to ensure the job description is accurate for the advertised role. To get a feel for company culture, ask questions during the interview process about how they typically handle mistakes, measure success, and support growth. Ask about compensation and benefits. Fair pay and inclusive benefits can signal that the company values its employees. Check the company's references by reaching out to former employees on LinkedIn. Envision where you see yourself in 2 years. Share your goals with the hiring manager to make sure the organization can deliver on your expectations. Adapted from content posted on HBR.org, September 23, 2022. Is it possible to turn any job into a job you'll love? Listen to this podcast, 5 Why You Should Take on More Stretch Assignments by Jonna Berry. When you think about what success will look like for you in your career, what do you imagine? Maybe it's landing a role at the company of your dreams. Or maybe it's finally getting a job that will help you transition into a new industry. Whatever comes to mind when you think about potential career wins, there is a good chance taking on a stretch assignment wasn't on your list. It's time to change that. A stretch assignment is a project you take on in your role that requires skills or knowledge beyond your current level of development. The reason such projects can be so positive for your career growth is that they offer a great opportunity for you to learn new things, meet new people, and shine in a new arena. This is also the exact reason why they can feel so scary. It can be terrifying to take on a project you're not totally equipped for or unsure if you can execute perfectly. But if you're willing to take the risk, and you do it well, taking on a stretch assignment can be the very thing that helps you move forward in your career. Of course, the stakes are higher if you, like me, are queer, black, a woman, or have other overlapping identities and work in an industry where you are a first or one of the few. Botching an unfamiliar task is one of the most common fears I've heard during my decade as a mentor and coach to rising leaders of color and queer managers. Considerable research shows that women, people of color, and members of the queer community are punished more heavily when they make mistakes. This is true at every level of experience, from CEOs to students. Those of us who share these identities know that a job setback or loss may be harder to recover from. It's no wonder we feel pressure to perform perfectly. While systemic biases are real and it's ultimately on leaders, lawmakers, voters, and industry watchdogs to tackle them, we are not powerless. Based on my own career and experience mentoring others, I can tell you that, despite the initial fear, taking on a stretch assignment is usually worth it. Many of the promotions I've had can be traced back to saying yes to these opportunities. Handling unfamiliar work is a skill that you can learn and refine. Hear us how to tackle your next stretch assignment and use the opportunity to reach your career goals. Recognize and shift your negative self-talk when you're starting a stretch project. It might be hard to not focus on everything that could go wrong. You may fear people will find out you don't know what you're doing. This is especially true for those of us who have overlapping identities or work in environments rife with microaggressions. If you already feel pressure to perform perfectly, in a dark moment you may experience thoughts like "I don't belong here, I can't do this, or I'll mess this up." A key part of your success will depend on your ability to turn down the volume of the imposter in your head. Earlier in my career, I had the opportunity to lead the daily morning news meeting at a media outlet where I worked. My job was to steer news coverage, making sure everyone's voice was heard, asking smart questions, and keeping the dozen or so attendees engaged and productive. Until that point in my career, I had most often seen men or white women play this high-profile role. It was rarely, if ever, owned by a woman of color. The first few weeks I led the meeting, my stomach was in knots every morning. Today, I recognize that my initial unease was a natural feeling. I was the only black editor in the newsroom. This was often a theme in my career. I'd been the only black intern, black editor, black manager, and so on. A good way to shift your mindset is journaling. This strategy has worked for many of the leaders I coach. When you're feeling overwhelmed by self-doubt, pause and take some time to reflect. Write down all of the times that you tried something new and figured it out. It could be a skill you acquired at work that makes you proud, like public speaking, copywriting, or data analysis. It could also be something you learned outside of work, like a new language or how to make friends and build community in a new city. Don't just jot down what you learned. Describe in detail any setbacks you faced, any fears you felt along the way, and how you overcame them. Reminding yourself of these wins will help you build confidence and give your mind the evidence it needs to prove that you're capable of taking on challenges. Even now, as a chief operating officer, I sometimes use this practice in the face of new or challenging tasks that shake my confidence. Looking back at my journal entries helps me remember I can trust myself to eventually figure things out. Get clarity when taking on a stretch project. Odds are you won't be given all of the information you need up front to be successful. That's the nature of stepping onto a new team or raising your hand for an assignment that's never been done. This lack of clarity can be especially difficult for those with overlapping identities. Emerging BIPOC, female, and/or queer leaders working in predominantly white, male, heteronormative spaces are operating in environments that were not created with them in mind. This means you often have less access to stakeholders at the highest level of your organization than your white counterparts. You might also be less likely to have senior colleagues guiding and supporting you. If this is your situation, you may sometimes find yourself late to pick up on nonverbal cues or jargon that your peers know well simply because you have not been in the room. For instance, you may not initially know that a C-level executive always twirls her pen when she wants you to wrap up a presentation. Or you may not know that people are sharing key information in Slack channels you haven't been invited to. This guarding of knowledge can sometimes extend to the projects you take on, including stretch projects, which are more challenging by nature. At the start of your stretch project, seek to gain clarity around your manager's expectations, important deadlines, specific goals you need to hit within those time frames, and any important stakeholders you need to keep in the loop along the way. Schedule some one-on-one time with your manager to thoroughly discuss these points. During your meeting, ask how you should communicate your progress, who needs updates by when, and what medium you should use to deliver information, in-person meetings, emails, quick Slack updates, and so forth. What decision points does your supervisor want to participate in? What team members, departments, or senior colleagues will the project impact? Most important, what does success look like? For example, there may be a senior executive in another department who has unspoken or explicit authority over a part of your project. Once you know this, you can start to think strategically about their goals and anticipate the questions they may ask you as the project progresses. You can even plan to meet with them to learn more about their expectations. With every milestone you hit, check in with your manager or stakeholders about the assignment's original goals, as many projects tend to evolve over time. Do a listening tour. You may initially feel hesitant or nervous to meet one-on-one with senior colleagues or executives. A listening tour is a good way to overcome that fear, build bridges with the different teams, and fast-track the knowledge you need to execute your stretch project. At the start of the project, tell stakeholders and your manager that you plan to do a series of one-on-one meetings so you can get up to speed on the initiative. When you reach out, explain the project you're leading and what information you want to learn from them. Keep it short. You can say something like, "I'm reaching out because I'm spearheading X initiative. I'm talking to all of the key stakeholders to learn as much as I can. You and your team are experts on X, and I'd love to touch base so I can learn more about how X works, how your team works, and how we can best collaborate." Use your meeting to do 3 things. Communicate transparently that you are not an expert in the area yet, show a sincere interest in learning more, and give the people who are experts a chance to showcase what they know. Your goal isn't to immediately become an expert, it's to ask informed questions that will help you perform your role better. Try to ask similar questions in each meeting so that you can see patterns or other important information in your notes. Here are a few questions that I like to ask during listening tours. How did you end up working here / on this project? What is your role and your team's role on this project? What should we stop doing? What should we keep doing? What is harder than it needs to be? How did we end up doing XYZ process this way? What are some things you're afraid I might get wrong? If you could wave a magic wand, what would you do? Who else should I talk to? If the stakeholder shares their opinion but doesn't elaborate, follow up with something like, "Wow, that's an interesting observation. Why did you say that?" If they share a complex process that you find difficult to understand, explain that you're having a hard time digesting their point, and ask them to re-explain it as if they are talking to a relative who doesn't work in the industry. This will help them communicate more clearly. While asking follow-up questions may feel embarrassing, especially if you are an emerging leader and don't want people to doubt your abilities, the most important thing is that you understand how the pieces of your project fit together. Think of these conversations as an exciting opportunity to learn something new and to excel at your assignment. When the conversation is over, thank the other person and ask, "If I come across something I don't understand, may I reach out to you again?" People will appreciate your effort to educate yourself. No matter how senior they are, if this project and its success is important to them, they will want to support you and see you succeed. Trust your gut as you work your way through this exciting assignment. Remember to cut yourself some slack along the way. Research shows that expertise is probably not what your new team or collaborators value the most. In Google's internal research on managing, subject matter expertise ranked last on the list of top 8 qualities that make a good manager. 3. What mattered more? Excelling at the core task the manager was entrusted with: managing the team. So, if you've been asked to project manage a big initiative, focus most of your energy on stewarding that project with excellence. There is probably a good chance you were chosen to steer a project on an unfamiliar topic because you are a strong project manager. A major component of leading with confidence is trusting your ability to figure things out. That might be hard at first, especially if you're an emerging BIPOC, female, and/or queer leader. Your personal sense of safety at work may come from avoiding criticism or constantly code switching. But remember, this project is an opportunity to hone new skills. Focus on learning how to sift through information, discern the most important details, and leverage your own expertise to make decisions. And remember, don't let fear drive your decisions. Follow your intuition. How do you distinguish the two? I tell my ments to use an exercise called I Knew Better, adapted from the work of life coach Sharon Eskandani. Write down all of the times you had a hunch to do something, but against your better judgment you didn't do it. In the end, if you found yourself saying I knew better, that initial hunch was your intuition. When thinking back to that initial instinct, what did that inner knowing feel like in your body? Remember this, and the next time you have the intuition to do something, write it down. Note when you follow through and don't follow through. The goal of this exercise is to use these moments as data points so you can learn what your gut instinct feels like when you're stuck at a pivot point during your new project. Taking on a project outside your area of expertise is a terrific way to grow as a leader. Like any opportunity, it will put you in a situation where you need to navigate discomfort. Take the risk and raise your hand for stretch assignments that catch your eye. It might take your career in a positive, unexpected direction. Chapter 13, Quick Recap. Taking on a stretch assignment, a project that requires skills beyond your current level, can help you learn and grow in your career. Keep these tips in mind when taking one on. When you're feeling overwhelmed by self-doubt, write down all of the times that you tried something new and figured it out. At the very start of your project, seek to gain clarity from stakeholders about their expectations, important deadlines, and specific goals you need to hit. Don't let your fear of failing overcome your intuition. Think about all of the times you had a hunch but didn't follow it. Remember this feeling and trust it the next time it comes around. Adapted from content posted on HBR.org, April 7, 2023. What should you do when you're pushed outside of your comfort zone at work? Listen to this podcast. Section 3: Who can help? 6. Want to advance in your career? Build Your Own Board of Directors by Susan Stelter. If you're reading this, chances are that you have a lot of questions about building a career. What path will fulfill your personal and professional needs? Should you be focused on making an impact or learning new skills? Is it better to find work-life balance or put in more hours to prove yourself? When you're new to the workforce, these questions are hard to answer on your own, especially when things feel so uncertain. You may lack the information necessary to make a confident decision. You may be unsure of what the next steps should look like. You may even require more time to figure out your core values. Knowing what you want and how to go about getting it takes trial and error, and you'll likely need some help to figure things out. You need a career board of directors. The concept, originally proposed by Jan Torisimaqua in her book, Building Career Equity, is not the same as having multiple mentors. Traditionally, a mentor is a senior colleague or professional whose work you deeply admire. You may want to emulate their leadership style, learn from their experience, or follow in their footsteps. Mentorships are often formal, one-on-one relationships that can require a significant time commitment. A career board of directors, on the other hand, is a more expansive network of individuals who act as independent advisors to you. Just as a company looks to its board for guidance, these people are there to offer you support in a broader sense. Each director usually specializes in a different area: a great manager, a skilled writer, a savvy freelancer, a wise parent, a compassionate friend, a talented peer, and so on. As such, each is able to offer you advice specific to their expertise. The goal is to put together a group of people with experiences completely distinct from your own who can offer you a fresh perspective when needed. You can reach out to them with smaller asks than you would a mentor, though. Over time, a few of them may grow into that role. While there is no right or wrong way to build a board, here are a few tips I often suggest to my clients to help them start out on the right foot. Understand your strengths, gaps, and aspirations. You can't enlist someone as help without knowing what you need from them first. To figure that out, you need to know what your strengths, weaknesses, and goals are. Begin by assessing where your career and personal life currently stand and how you want them to change, or not, in the future. Ask yourself, what do I want my first job to look like? If applicable, what do I like about my current role? What do I dislike? How can I do more of what I like and move away from what I don't? What do I enjoy outside of work? Are there hobbies I'm passionate about or new activities that I want to explore? What skills am I lacking right now? Do I know what to do to improve? How do I imagine my career path will look? Do I want a promotion? Do I want to make a lateral move or find a completely new role? How will I navigate my professional growth along with my personal goals, like starting a family or relocating? These questions may vary depending on what stage of your career you're in. For instance, someone who is thinking about starting a family may be more focused on work-life balance, whereas a new grad may be more interested in defining their values and career interests. The big idea is to push yourself and dig deeper into what is important to you now, as well as in the next 3 to 5 years. After jotting down your answers, use them to write a short letter, 300 to 500 words, to your future self. Think about where you want to be 3 years from now, what you want to get better at, what you need to be more accountable for, and the areas in your work or your life where you could use some guidance. Here is an example. Dear future self, I know that I'm a highly motivated, creative, collaborative, and determined person with a passion for helping others solve complex challenges. I know that I want to become a better data scientist and use my skills to create social impact, especially to tackle climate change. 3 years from now, I hope to be promoted to a managerial role and lead a motivated team underneath me, learn data visualization skills to become better at my job, as well as understand the skills required to manage a team, expand my professional network by connecting with fellow data scientists and people working in the climate and energy sectors to learn from their experiences, gain regular feedback on my skills, and build new relationships, prioritize my health by maintaining a regular 4-day-a-week exercise routine and not compromising on my sleep as I do now, set aside time to engage in volunteer work at least once a week, something I'm unable to get started on right now. Writing this note will help you figure out what your aspirations are and where you need to improve. It will also help you understand what kind of guidance you need and which individuals may be most useful to you as you create your board of directors. For instance, your interest in addressing climate change might push you to find other peers who are passionate about the energy sector and who can help you brainstorm ways to approach the problem. Your desire to build a healthy routine may encourage you to connect with people in different stages of their careers to learn about how they set work-life boundaries. Finally, understand that your goals are not going to be static. They will evolve with your career, and as they do, you should reach out to new individuals for different perspectives. Pick your board members. Begin by looking around you. Are there people in your life whom you find inspiring? Depending on the advice you need, this could include a former peer, a friend as parent, a career coach, an alumnus of your college, or even your supervisor. Reach out to individuals from varied socioeconomic backgrounds, industries, roles, and organizations. Having people in various industries and life stages on your board will broaden your perspective, teach you new ways of doing things, and allow you to expand your network. As you consider whom to include, ask yourself, have I chosen a couple of people who already reached a goal that I have for myself or who have inspired me? Have I chosen people from diverse backgrounds? Have I chosen people who will challenge me to think and act critically? Have they been supportive of me and my goals in the past? Have I chosen people who will benefit from this relationship too? I typically advise my clients to limit their board to 3 to 6 directors. Reach out to people. Your board can be as casual or as formal as you would like. Some people choose to simply treat their picks as board members without explicitly telling them, while others make more official requests. If you choose to inform the people on your board, set up a call or an in-person meeting with them. Be direct, concise, and professional. Explain why you're reaching out, what you hope to get out of the relationship, and what you admire about or believe you can learn from them. In your initial message, you could say, "Hey, I'm reaching out because I've been building out a career board of directors. It's basically a group of people I really admire from whom I hope to learn as I grow in my career. You've been a great friend to me over the last 5 years, and I really value your guidance. Your passion for advocacy inspires me, and I would love to learn more about how to support the causes that resonate with you. Would you be open to chatting with me on a call, or maybe over coffee? I'd love to include you in this group." During your chat, have an honest conversation about what your expectations are and whether the potential board member can meet them. Do you want a monthly meeting? Would you prefer connecting over a call or in person? Try to stay flexible and be willing to adjust as the relationship progresses. For instance, you might say, "My hope is that we'd be able to meet in person or hop on a call once a month to connect over the projects we're both working on. I'd love to share any useful insights with you and vice versa. I'd also be curious to learn more about the nonprofits you support and how best to advocate for the right causes." If a prospective board member can't commit, that's okay. Thank them for their time and ask if you can revisit the opportunity with them later on. You could say, "Thank you for being honest with me about your current commitments. Would you mind if we revisited this in a couple of months, when you may have more time? Give back to your board. Managing a career board of directors requires a degree of time and effort. Remember, it's not just about you. Just as your board is helping you find fulfillment in your career, they should receive that same fulfillment by being a part of your journey. For instance, if you receive a promotion after a bunch of mock interviews with different directors on your board, take them out for a celebration, write them handwritten thank you notes, or recognize them on LinkedIn. There are so many meaningful ways to potentially engage with your directors. If a member of your board is looking to move out of their role into a new industry, for example, maybe you can give back by connecting them with someone you know. If one of them is looking for feedback on their kid's college application, step in and offer to help. If a member is looking to expand their network, introduce the different board members to one another. The stronger your rapport becomes with each director, the easier it will be for you to recognize ways you can contribute to their success and growth. Deciding how to move forward in your career can be an isolating, anxiety-filled experience. You don't need to go it alone. Building a career board of directors is a great step toward taking ownership of your future, cultivating a valuable network of supporters, and, ultimately, finding fulfillment in your life and through your work. Chapter 14, Quick Recap. When you're just getting started in your career, creating a personal board of directors can help you make decisions and move forward. Here is how to form one. Understand your strengths, weaknesses, and goals. Assess where your career stands and how you want it to change. Next, pick your board members. Reach out to individuals from varied socioeconomic backgrounds, industries, roles, and organizations who can help you achieve your goals. Finally, nurture your board with meaningful conversations and gestures. You can connect your directors with each other or offer to help if one of them is looking for guidance. Adapted from content posted on HBR.org, May 9, 2022. How do you build a network when you're just getting started in your career? Listen to this podcast, 7 What to Say When You're Reaching Out to Someone on LinkedIn by Christy DePaul. If networking isn't at the top of your to-do list, it should be. Cultivating your network offers many benefits: greater learning opportunities, broader career prospects, access to leaders' insights, and more immediate job options, among others. And there's south no better place, at least online, to build your network than on LinkedIn. LinkedIn offers the opportunity to track trends, make meaningful connections, and maintain a curated digital arsenal that recruiters and potential employers can easily access and review. The problem is, while LinkedIn can help you build your network and career, few people are using it well, especially when it comes to reaching out to new contacts. Common mistakes people make while networking on LinkedIn. If you've been hesitant to reach out to people on LinkedIn, or if you've been reaching out and not hearing back, there are strategies you can use to increase your chances. But first, let us look at 5 common mistakes you might be making. You don't know what you want. Have you thought about why you're reaching out to someone? Are you seeking more information about a role or company? A relationship that can grow? Or a lifeline to a potential future mentor or employer? You're putting your own needs first. Don't be self-serving. No one will respond to "it would be good to connect with you" unless they know what's in it for them. Your messages are weak, generic, non-personalized messages have a low probability of success. As entrepreneur Larry Kim has said, what are the 11 most boring words in the English language? I'd like to add you to my professional network on LinkedIn. 2. You're using an awkward tone. Sometimes even the best messages will be met with silence or ghosting. Still, many continue to approach total strangers in ways they never dare in person. You're not being persuasive enough. If you haven't been able to convince the other person why you really want to connect with them, chances are they won't respond. Craft messages that get responses. Now that you've identified what mistakes you may be making, let us look at how you can overcome them and flip the odds in your favor. No, there isn't a simple playbook or shortcut. But you can cut through the noise by employing research-backed approaches such as Cialdini's principles of persuasion and by borrowing proven practices from both regular folks and industry leaders. 3. I reached out to experts, entrepreneurs, and authors who specialize in this area from within my network, and a few I wasn't connected to learn more about formulating messages that are authentic to you will resonate with recipients at any level. Here's what they told me. If you are seeking advice on a career path or job change, people aren't employment oracles just waiting for your message soliciting their sage advice. Think deeply about the kind of guidance you want and then identify the most relevant person to approach. Clarity is key when you're performing cold outreach. Cynthia Johnson, author of Platform, The Art and Science of Personal Branding, told me. Assume that the person you're reaching out to is busy and wants to give you the best advice possible. If you're direct and specific as to what you're asking and why you're asking them, you will have created the perfect environment for a confident and thoughtful response. Sending a vague, and all too common, "Can I pick your brain?" message isn't going to be helpful. Tim Herrera, founding editor of Smarter Living at the New York Times, recommends being straightforward and transparent to improve your chances of receiving a reply. Whatever the ask is, the best favor you can do for yourself is not to beat around the bush. You're teeing the recipient up to give you exactly what you want because they know exactly what that is. You've taken away the ambiguity for them, which will save them time and mental effort, and you're also setting up the exchange to be as productive and efficient as possible. Of course, he added, you should always aim to be kind and courteous. Here is an example of a note that is precise, but is flexible on timing. Erica, your professional journey really stood out to me. I'm very interested in building my career as a role. Since you've been in that position, would you have some time to offer me a bit of advice on pursuing this? I would really appreciate a brief call at your convenience. If you want someone to review your or cover letter when making this kind of request, put yourself in the shoes of the receiver and try to answer this question for them up front. Why is this person contacting me? Acknowledge that you're asking them for a favor. Here is a persuasive and considerate message that was sent my way. Hi Christy, you've built a really interesting career in thought leadership, and mutual contact mentioned you were a great resource as she revised her or some. Since I'm hoping to advance from my current role, I'd love to get your brief take on my cover letter if your schedule allows it. Receiving a carefully formulated request like this is somewhat rare, as it doesn't make any assumption that I can provide a labor-intensive line edit to someone's application materials. Again, the acknowledgement that I'm using my time to help matters. In cases where I've been referred to job seekers by other people I've helped, I'm even more likely to respond. If someone I help then pays it forward by assisting others in their own circles, that makes the investment worth it. In other words, always mention a referral if you have one. If you are inquiring about a job posting and/or hiring process, we all have demanding schedules and are a little burned out, explained Amber Naslund, principal content consultant at LinkedIn, a role she landed after building a consistent presence on the platform. Open-ended messages like "I just wondered if you had any openings" aren't useful, because all of those details are on a company's career page and that puts the work on the person you're asking. According to Naslund, it's better to ask about a specific role and see if someone is willing to introduce you to a recruiter, make an internal referral, or answer questions you have about that role or the company. Being respectful of people's time, expertise, and relationships can go a long way when you're trying to land your next job, she told me. The professional you reach out to could, for example, be a teammate who works closely with the role in question, or the person who would be the immediate supervisor. You could try a message like this: Hi Cameron, I saw that your company is recruiting a marketing assistant. Since it seems you'd work directly with this person, it would be wonderful to hear your thoughts on the role. I'm looking to get some clarity on the role and responsibilities before I apply. Do you have a few minutes to speak with me about it in the next week or two? If you are approaching a potential mentor before sending an invitation to connect with a potential new mentor, investigate whether or not that person might be interested in serving as one. Cynthia Johnson recommends looking for a leader who demonstrates that they, A, are experienced in the areas in which you're seeking mentorship and, B, show signs of having some availability. Johnson found her longtime mentor on LinkedIn. I assessed his expertise by doing diligent searches and thorough evaluations of his communications online with others. She identified the groups he had joined on the platform, including some where she noticed that he was very active, and joined them too. His activity told me that he was interested in discussion and possibly had a bit of extra time to work with me, she said. You can do this type of assessment, too, and find an amazing mentor. When writing to a prospective mentor, make sure you've done your homework. Here is an example of a message you could send. Divya, your posts on EdTech in the STEM Education Forum have been really thought-provoking. I've interned for a few startups in this space and am excited about my own next steps, but I definitely could use some guidance from an experienced pro like you. Would you be open to chatting about this? If you are reaching that is the heart of experience, opportunity, and developing your career. If it helped, a quick subscribe keeps more summaries coming. So how do career and work connect? That is exactly where we started. Go back to the top and watch it click into place.